The Nature of Personal Reality, a Seth book by Jane Roberts, read by Martin John, Part 2, Chapter 15, Session 657, April 18, 1973, 9:05 p.m., Wednesday. Good evening. Dictation. I would like the sentence that I'm going to give you placed separately on the page in larger type so that it is set off and underlined. The present is the point of power. The above is one of the most important sentences in this book in practical terms, and working within the framework of time as you understand it. As mentioned earlier, you actualize events from the present intersection of spirit and flesh, choosing them from probabilities according to your beliefs. All of your physical, mental, and spiritual abilities are focused together, then, in the brilliant concentration of present experience. You are not at the mercy of the past or of previous convictions, unless you believe that you are. If you fully comprehend your power in the present, you will realize that action at that point also alters the past, its beliefs, and your reactions. In other words, I'm telling you that your present beliefs, in a manner of speaking, are like the directors given to the entire personality, simultaneously organizing and reorganizing past experience according to your current concepts of reality. The future, the probable future, is being altered in the same way, of course. To look backward for the source of current problems can lead you into the habit of seeking only negative episodes from your past and prevent you from experiencing it as a source of pleasure, accomplishment, or success. You are structuring your earlier life through the dissatisfactions of the present and therefore reinforcing your problems. It is as if you were reading a history book that was devoted only to the failures, cruelties, and errors of the race, ignoring all of its accomplishments. Such practices can lead you to use your own history so that it gives you a very distorted picture of who and what you are. A picture that then paints your present circumstances. Those given to such practices, constant examination of the past in order to discover what is wrong in the present, too often miss the point. Instead, they constantly reinforce the negative experience from which they are trying to escape. Their initial problems were caused precisely as a result of the same kind of thinking. A great many unsatisfactory conditions result because individuals become frightened at various periods in their lives, doubt themselves, and begin to concentrate upon negative aspects. The situation may be quite different in some ways. Large areas of life may not be touched by certain attitudes, while others are. One person may be completely free physically and in excellent health, and yet, because of certain experiences, begins to doubt his ability to get along with others. So he may begin to look into the past with that belief in mind, that he cannot relate, and then find within previous conduct all kinds of reasons to support the idea. If he journeyed through his memories, trying to find a different kind of proof instead, then, in the same past, he would discover instances when he did relate well with others. Your present beliefs structure the memories which will parade before you now. And what you remember will then seem to justify the beliefs. When you're trying to alter your beliefs, look through your past with the new conceptions in mind. If you are ill, remember when you were not. Search your life for proofs of your health. Your very life itself is hard evidence that health is within you. In almost all cases of present limitation, there is one main theme in that particular area. The individual has schooled himself or herself to stress negative aspects for whatever reasons. I have frequently said that beliefs cause reality, and that no symptom will simply fade away unless the reason is ascertained. But such reasons go far beneath your current ideas of cause and effect. They involve intimate philosophical value judgments on the part of each individual. Beneath them, the apparent causes of limitations in personal life, there are other far-reaching beliefs, and each individual will use those elements in his private experience to back these up. This applies to any kind of lack or hindrance severe enough to be a problem. You've been taught that you are at the mercy of previous events. So your idea of looking for the source of personal difficulty is to examine the past, but to find what you did wrong there, or what mistakes occurred there, or what inadequate interpretations were made there. Again, regardless of what you have been taught, the point of power is in the present. And again, your present beliefs will be used to structure your recollections. Those memories will be used to reach any conclusion, as statistics can be used, for example. Along the way, you may settle for a given remembered event or two and assign to them the reasons for your present behavior. If so, you are already prepared to change your current beliefs and mode of action, and simply use the occurrences or habits of the past as a stimulus or motivation. The question, "What is wrong with me?" will only lead you to create further limitations and to reinforce those that you do have, through exaggerating such activities in the present and projecting them into the future. Which you, which world? These questions are to be answered in the now, as you understand it, through the realization that your power of action is in the present and not the past. For your only effective point of changing any aspect of your world lies in that miraculous instant connection of spirit and self through neurological impact. To rid yourself of annoying restrictions, then, my dear friend, you pattern your past from the present. Whatever your circumstances, you use the past as a rich source, looking through it for your successes, restructuring it. When you search it looking for what is wrong, then you become blind to what was right in those terms, so that the past only mirrors the shortcomings that now face you. Other events literally become invisible to you. Since basically past and future exist at once, you are at the same time dangerously constructing your future along the same lines. Individuals can go from psychologist to psychologist, from self-therapy to self-therapy, always with the same question: what is wrong? The question itself becomes a format through which experience is seen, and itself represents one of the main reasons for all limitations, physical, psychic, or spiritual. At one point or another, the individual ceased concentrating upon what was right in certain personal areas and began to focus upon and magnify specific lacks. With all good intentions, then various solutions are looked for, but all based upon the premise that something is wrong. If such a practice is continued, the concentration upon negatives can gradually bleed out into other previously unblemished areas of experience. Take your break and mark this session well. You are not at the mercy of past beliefs, therefore. On the other hand, the sooner you begin to act upon new ones, the better. Otherwise, you are not trusting them in the present. If you are poor and want to have more money and try to maintain a belief in abundance, while still faced with the fact of present poverty, you must in your reality make some symbolic move that shows you are willing to accept a change. As foolish as it may sound, you should give some money away, or, in whatever manner that suits you, act as if you did have more money than you physically have. You must respond to your new beliefs so that neurologically the new message gets across. You perform habitually in certain manners as a result of your beliefs. Now, if you willfully change some of those habits, then you are also getting the message across. The initiative must come from you, and in the present. In a very real manner of speaking, this means changing your viewpoint, that particular perspective with which you view your past and present and imagine your future. You must look within yourself for evidences of what you want in terms of positive experience. Examine your past with that in mind. Imagine your future from the power point of the present. In such a way, at least you are not using the past to reinforce your limitations, or projecting them into the future. It is only natural to contrast what you want with what you have, and it is very easy to become discouraged in doing so. But looking for errors in the past will not help you. A correctly utilized 5-minute period of time can be of great benefit, however. In this period, concentrate upon the fact that the point of power is now. Feel and dwell upon the certainty that your emotional, spiritual, and psychic abilities are focused through the flesh, and for 5 minutes only direct all of your attention toward what you want. Use visualization or verbal thought, whatever comes most naturally to you. But for that period, do not concentrate upon any lacks, just upon your desire. Use all of your energy and attention. Then forget about it. Do not check to see how well it is working. Simply make sure that in that period your intentions are clear. Then in one way or another, according to your own individual situation, make one physical gesture or act that is in line with your belief or desire. Behave physically then, at least once a day, in a way that shows that you have faith in what you are doing. The act can be a very simple one. If you are lonely and feel unwanted, it can merely involve your smiling at someone else. If you are poor, it can involve such a simple thing as buying an item you want that costs 2 cents more than the one you would usually buy. acting on faith, even that feebly, that the 2 cents will somehow be given you or come into your experience, but acting as if you had more than you do. In health terms, it involves conducting yourself once a day as though you were not sick in whatever way given you. But the belief in the present reinforced for 5 minutes, plus such a physical action, will sometimes bring literally awesome results. Such effects will occur, however, only if you cease looking into the past for what is wrong and stop reinforcing your negative experience. These same principles can be used in any area of your life, and in each you are choosing from a variety of probable events. Those of you who believe in reincarnation in more or less conventional terms can make the error of using or blaming past lives, organizing them through your current beliefs. It is bad enough to believe that you are at the mercy of one past, but to consider yourself helpless before innumerable previous errors from other lives puts you in an impossible situation. The conscious will is robbed of its power to act. Such lives exist simultaneously. They are other expressions of yourself, interacting, but with each conscious self possessing the point of power in its own present. It is for this reason that past life information is so often used to reinforce current personal social situations, because, like the past in this life, such memories are constructed through present belief. If such information is given to you by another, by a psychic, for example, that individual is also very apt to pick up those lives that make sense to you now, and unconsciously, of course, to structure them precisely along the lines of your beliefs. This may not seem obvious. If an individual believes that he is basically unworthy, he will recall or be given those lives that justify that idea. If he thinks he must pay for his sins now, then that belief will attract memory of those lives that will reinforce it. This will be highly organized recall, leaving out everything that does not apply. If an individual believes that he is being taken advantage of and is caught in a mundane existence, unappreciated, then he may receive from himself or others information showing that in other lives he was greatly honored, thereby reinforcing his belief that now he is taken for granted, or worse. These statements of mine are general, for each individual will have his or her own way of reinforcing beliefs. If you think you are ill, most likely past life information will show you that you have committed crimes for which you are now doing penance. In whatever framework you choose, you will always find proper reinforcement for your belief. The truth, as far as it can be stated, is this: you form your reality now, in capital letters, through the intersection of soul in flesh, and in your terms, the present is your point of power. Each of your reincarnational selves is born as a creature in flesh like you. Each one has its own points of power, or successive moments in which it also materializes daily existence in a linear manner from all the probabilities available to it. In a way that will be explained in another book for those interested in such matters, there is a kind of coincidence with all of these present points of power that exist between you and your reincarnational selves. There are even biological connections in terms of cellular memory. So through your current beliefs, you can, in your own space and time, attract tendencies towards certain experiences shared by these others. There's a constant interaction in this multidimensional point of power. Therefore, so that in your terms, one incarnated self draws from all the others what abilities it wants, according to its own specific, localized beliefs. These selves are different counterparts of your self in creaturehood, experiencing bodily reality, but at the same time your organism itself shuts out the simultaneous nature of experience. This does not mean that at other levels you cannot perceive it, but that generally speaking events must seem to appear in a series. In quite real personal and racial terms, the past is still happening. You create it from your present according to your beliefs. A removed appendix will not reappear physically. There are certain frameworks that are accepted, built into your creaturehood. There is a far greater freedom, however, even on the cellular level. End of dictation. Peace, light, and love. Aloha.